Okay, good morning, everybody. Bill Lester here. Welcome to this week's virtual plant clinic. I'm with University of Florida IFAS Extension Service here in Hernando County. And joining me today is my regular co-host, Lily Browning, who is our Florida-friendly landscape coordinator here in Hernando County. So good morning, Lily. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm here, busy like always. Oh my gosh, my phone is dinging, my email is dinging. I'm surrounded by dinging here, I guess.
You're a very popular guy.
Yes, it seems like this is a kind of busy time of year for us. Well, really, all year is a busy time of year.
We did a class yesterday, you and I, and you had, oh, good morning, Austin. You had, your phone kept ringing when we were doing the class, and I was thinking, Nora knows you're doing a class, and it's not me calling, so who else could it possibly have been?
I get phone calls from people asking me if I want to renew my extended warranty on my
Oh,
car,
yeah, I get that.
like all of us probably get.
Yes.
And I get other, junk phone calls and salespeople and this and that. So it's not always a work-related phone call.
Well, see here, if you do this and put it, you can turn off the sound.
I did that and I turned it off and I couldn't get it to go back on and I had to have my wife look at it to fix it. And so I'm not touching it now.
Okay.
When it starts ringing, I'm pretty quick at hitting that button to make it stop ringing. But other than that, I'm not messing with any more adjustments. Because what would happen is she would call me or text me and I wouldn't know. And then she'd think that I was ignoring her and get even angrier.
Oh, yes. I have that because I keep mine on silent like most of the time, being in a cubicle here at work. And so, yes, I get you were purposefully ignoring me kind of.
Why don't you answer my calls?
Yes.
Well, I would if I knew that you were calling.
So we're in fall now.
Yes, we are. And this morning, it actually felt like fall when I was walking out the front door.
I didn't notice that. Maybe I wasn't too much of a.
I did.
Okay. Still felt kind of, like that wet, warm dog licking you when you walk out the door.
No, I could tell it was a lot less humid because for weeks I go out to get in my car and the windshield and the back window and everything is covered with water.
You're right.
Partly because it rained the night before, because it's rained every night for the past week or two. And today, all the glass was bone dry. So the humidity has dropped at least a little bit.
I did notice that. You're right. I did notice. I'm like, whoa, all my windows are clear. I can see. Yes. Yes. And there's a cold front smashing down that, it's not going to get this far. But
no.
If you take a ride up to Gainesville or something, you might be able to feel a definite difference in the humidity levels.
If you go camping for a long weekend at Carabel, the front will be there. And
that's
Saturday morning it's supposed to be about 60 Saturday morning.
Nice. That's oddly.
So I have to dig my coat out and take it along now.
Taking the RV out, are you?
Yep. Gonna have to take a coat, I guess. Getting down to 60. Okay, good morning, Cindy. How are you doing?
So, what does the beginning of fall mean here in Florida?
It cools off for a couple days and then goes right back to upper 80s. And that may happen all the way through Christmas. Some years it doesn't, it cools off, but we don't get any real cold until after Christmas, after the holidays. Other years I've seen like where we get a huge cold front and devastating below freezing cold for Thanksgiving. So you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, but you can tell it's fall with the daylight hours are changing.
Days are getting shorter.
On Wednesday the day was exactly equal.
Yes.
But they are. Yeah, it's getting dark by 7. Seems like.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the time change soon, and I hate that.
November 7th. I don't like it in the evening. I do like it in the mornings because I don't like getting up when it's dark, going to work when it's dark.
I don't mind that. I just don't like coming home in the dark.
Hmm. Well, what
But
does that mean for like our lawns and things with the daylight hours changing?
your lawns can't read a clock and they don't know what time it is. But lawns and other plants in your landscape do sense day length. So shorter days trigger changes is going to trigger your Bahia and St. Augustine to start going dormant. Other plants are going to go dormant if it's a type of plant that goes dormant. So like blueberries, peaches, plums, nectarines, things like that. They're going to lose their leaves. Crepe myrtles also, they lose their leaves, they go dormant. They just sit there with no leaves all winter long. Other tropical and subtropical plants do something called quiescence. So they don't go dormant, they go quiescent, which means they just sit there and don't grow. They're not particularly happy, but they don't grow, or they grow very little. So your citrus, bananas, papayas, anything tropical, anything you might have in your yard, mangoes. I read a post in a thread on Facebook yesterday. Somebody asked, and I think they were in the greater Orlando area, I really want to grow mangoes. Has anybody else done it in 9A or 9B? And all these people were chiming in from Orlando-ish, Kissimmee-ish, Lakeland-ish, general areas around there, saying, I have a huge mango, I get tons of fruit. My neighbor has 10 mango trees, they all get tons of fruit. So it's definitely worth a try. And then you keep your fingers crossed, especially the first couple of years when the tree is young, that it doesn't drop down to 17. Because a mango tree in the middle of your yard in 17-degree weather for 6 or 8 hours overnight is not going to be a pretty sight the next day.
Right.
But tropical plants just go quiescent and they quit growing. So yeah, we're about to, boy, I tell you, I can't wait for my grass to stop growing. I cut it, and I've been trying to cut it high so it looks good and it looks full, but you cut it high and 2 or 3 days later it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta cut it again.
Oh, we have someone from Goose Creek, South Carolina.
Austin says it's a cold day up there.
Yeah, in Green Bay.
52.
Is it ever not a cold day up there?
Isn't 52 like spring?
Yeah.
Or fall or middle of summer up there in
It
Green
is
Bay?
fall. Yeah, 52 sounds right for September.
And then Goose Creek, South Carolina. Oh, I know it's getting chilly up there, or what I would consider chilly, I'm sure. I'm sure Lynn's going to go like, that's not chilly, but.
Well, South Carolina gets just as hot as here.
Yes. And Austin says it is fall up there, but I bet you up there in about 3 days it's going to be winter.
Yeah. I'll be heading up north soon. First 2 weeks in October. I'll be going to Pennsylvania because I got a baby to go see up there. And Virginia, because my son has a new house I have to see there. And then on the way home, my husband and I, for the fun of it, will be stopping in a cabin in Maryville, Tennessee on the way home for like 3 nights. So that'll be our big fall trip.
Yeah, you might see some changing leaves and everything. And
It's a little early. We usually go more mid-October, but I don't want to wait any longer to see that baby. So.
Lynn says in South Carolina it's 68, but she loves the heat.
Okay.
Oh, Lynn, that's 68 is chilly. Below 60 is cold.
Below 70 is cold to Bill.
Above 85, that's heat. That's normal. So. Oh my God. Austin said there were 20 degrees.
Yeah.
That just ain't right.
So what type of vegetables should we be thinking about, or where should we be at in our vegetable growing process here in Central Florida?
At this point, hopefully you planted warm season crops like a few weeks ago or a month, or even as early as end of July, middle of August, something like that. you really don't want to be planting any more of those right now. You want to go ahead and focus on all the cool season crops. And let's see, I see today September 23rd. As a general rule, I try to start those things October 1st. Anytime from October 1st on, you can plant all the lettuce and green leafy stuff and mustard greens and turnip greens and collard greens and root crops like carrots, radishes, beets, turnips, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, regular peas, snow peas, and all those cool season things. And you can keep planting them all winter long. So like radishes only take 30 days to grow. So you can plant a little section of radishes. In 2 weeks, plant another little section. In 2 weeks, plant another little section. And eventually you're going to get a steady flow of radishes for a long time during the winter. Because don't make the mistake I've made, like you plant a big chunk of radishes. And they all grow, and they do fine. And in a month or so, you have a ton of radishes.
More radishes than you know what to do with.
Exactly. It's
Make
only for a
horseradish.
short time also. I like some radishes for the whole winter, not a bushel of radishes for one weekend.
Well, how do you make horseradish? Maybe you could do that.
Horseradish comes off a separate plant's roots. It is a horseradish plant, and it gets kind of a big, thick, white root.
Okay.
And you take that root and you grate it and mix it with, I think, mayonnaise. I've never. Horseradish root grows up north.
Right.
Yeah. And I wonder if anybody watching today, I see we have 7 people on here. So out of you 7, have any of you ever grown horseradish, or maybe made horseradish when you lived up north and maybe grew it or bought the root? You can buy the root at some grocery stores. I've seen it before.
Yeah. My mother, well, she had a German background, but she never wanted to eat anything with the tiniest bit of spice on it whatsoever. But yet I would watch her spoon out horseradish and eat it with a spoon. I never quite understood the difference there. But yet, as I get older and I find something with a taste of horseradish in it, I'm like, oh, that is so good. I've been craving it.
I love horseradish. I hated it, when I was a kid.
Right.
But
hurt your mouth when you're a kid, yeah.
So Lynn has never grown horseradish.
And Austin wants to know how. See, now we've started a thing.
I know. Growing your own horseradish. And I'm going to have to look into that. So let me start making notes here. I'll try to figure out, can you even grow it here in Florida?
You probably can in Green Bay, maybe in South Carolina. I don't know. Do you know your zone, Lynn? Is it like 7B, something like that?
I'll start looking it up.
All right. Okay. You do that. Okay. So this is a round. Now is the time to start getting ready for the cool crops.
Yes, it is. Because it's still supposed to be warm during the day. So maybe you're thinking like, oh, it's still summer. Technically, it's not, because the days are getting shorter, and that's what triggers a lot of plants.
Okay.
Oh, here I found a blog post. Okay. And there is a University of Florida video online, growing and preparing horseradish.
Interesting.
I wonder if I could screen share that.
Lynn's in zone 8B.
Okay, here we can see it. Let's see. Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Beth with the University of Florida, Escambia County Extension, and we're making a few changes here in the herb garden and taking one of our vegetables and moving it to our new edible garden area. The plant I'm moving right now in late winter is horseradish. And this is a plant that really would prefer a more northern climate, but we can grow it here in Florida and get some production from those roots that we can take and harvest and use. Now, horseradish really can grow in full sun, but in Florida, in our heat, it doesn't mind a break from that sun, so partial shade will be fine. You really want a well-drained soil with some organic matter, and realize this plant's not going to look its best for some of the year because there are a few insects and leaf feeders that will kind of feed on the foliage, but that's not really why we're growing it anyway. You can grow this in the ground or a container, and what you can do is plant a root or a crown and then start your plant. And it's going to take about 4.5 months for that to be ready for harvest. We kind of consider this an annual. If you leave it as a perennial, those roots get a little bit fibrous. So what I've done here, I've loosened this big mound of horseradish. I've dug pieces out, and you can see we have these wonderful roots here. We're going to clean up outside and then take them in. And Dorothy's going to show us how to prepare some of these to add some spice to something we want to eat. So let's go into the kitchen.
Welcome to Extension Kitchen. Our recipe for today is homemade horseradish sauce.
This is how
The
you're going to make
first step in
it.
preparing the
Make it for
horseradish
Henry.
sauce is once we
you
have selected the roots
the
that we're
cooking
going to
follow
use,
up.
we want to chop the tops off, and then we want to thoroughly wash them. And so I have already chopped all of the tops and also thoroughly washed our roots. So the next step, we're going to use a household kitchen potato peeler, and we're going to peel this top brown skin off of our root. Next step in our process is that we want to chop our roots, or we want to grate them. One handy kitchen utensil would be a box grater.
I don't like
With a
them.
box
I hurt
grater,
myself
you can
with
have a
that.
very fine chop, or you
Food
can have
processor.
a little thicker chop.
Oh, okay.
I prefer using the food processor because it tends to make it a little bit finer.
Safer on the fingers. Ooh.
The processor has been running about 3 minutes now. Ooh, I can smell that wonderful aroma from the spice. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of water to the roots, because that way it'll help make it a little creamier. And then we're going to process it for a little bit longer, maybe 2 minutes longer. Going to add about a spoon of salt and about 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar, and process it for about 2 minutes. Okay, now that we've added our vinegar, our white vinegar, and our salt, we're ready to start spooning up. And I have some in our dish, so it's nice and creamy. And actually, in the refrigerator, in an airtight container, the horseradish sauce will last about 2 to 3 weeks. It can also be frozen in the freezer for up to several months.
There you go.
Wow.
Water and vinegar. Mm-hmm. Now everyone's going to want horseradish tonight.
Boy, that was a great video too. Very well done.
Yes.
Get a garden component and then a what do you do with it component.
There you go. If you could spell out phonetically, let's go back to this one. So now we're fighting over this. Spell out phonetically how to say your name, because she doesn't say it, Genevieve. And I never remember. She says it with more of a French accent. So I'll have to. So we know how to say it.
Yeah, I'm no good with the French accent. I can
well, that's her name. So it's Jean.
Ms. Dutton says that she hated it as a kid. So did I. And my parents, bought it, liked it. I tried it when I was a little kid, and it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it hurt. It hurts your mouth. Yes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna look online and try to. I know that you can order from a seed catalog or seed company roots, and you plant the root. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
Try growing it for the winter.
That sounds good. So. Yeah. Jean-Genevieve.
You do that very well. You're in charge of that. Autocorrect. Oh.
Genevieve. I just know I had an Aunt Jen, and she was Genevieve, which is a beautiful name either way, Genevieve or Genevieve. It's okay.
But going back to the horseradish, I agree with Diana. They do have a nice kitchen, and a lot of extension offices do have nice kitchens.
Right.
Where they give cooking classes and canning and things like healthy eating.
Oh, maybe there's something you could follow up with the cannery. You grow it and then show how to process it or make it, food worthy by partnering with the cannery.
We should.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know another agent who I need to have on here as a guest really soon. And whether she does her part over there or comes over here, and I can ask our county government camera person to do the video work. Yeah, that'll work. We'll have to pick a few things to kind of focus on. I thought that the whole package and blog post was very good.
Yes, they did a good job. And Diana says she used to make her own. Yeah.
Horseradish is in cocktail sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I like it with a lot of horseradish with a good pick.
Yes.
And Lee, good morning. We're talking horseradish today, and I'm not really sure how we went down that road, but we're on horseradish at the moment. So.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jen is fine. I can remember that, Jen.
Yeah.
I got that down.
Yes. Just like my Aunt Jen. That works perfectly.
Now, Lee, you're down in Broward, either Brevard or Broward County. So
Brevard.
You can try growing it down there. You would definitely have to grow it in the winter and not in really, really full sun. And you might be able to do okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I would have to order the root really soon and get it in the ground and have it grow all winter. And by March or so, I'd probably want to pull it and grate it and see what I got.
Gonna share it? Oh, Broward, you were right. Sorry.
Broward, yes.
Yeah. You're gonna share your horseradish?
Sure, I'll share some with you.
Okay.
No, we'll make a video.
Yeah. And all you need is water and vinegar, apparently, and the horseradish and a food processor.
I always thought there was something creamy in it, like mayonnaise or
no,
not
really.
There's
creamy.
probably different recipes if you look online.
And it could be because it's a tuber. It's the starches from the tuber that made it seem creamy to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start you on a whole different subject. How's that?
Okay. Which direction are we going to go in now?
A wet direction.
Okay.
We've been getting a whole lot of rain. We have, more rain than we've had in years and years and years and years. And Citrus County seems to really be the focus of the rain. I was watching, Mark Fulkerson from the Water Management District.
I think I've heard the name, yeah.
Yes. Well, he watches river levels and all that kind of thing. And they had him actually talking to the commissioners at Citrus County. And the Citrus County Extension played, his presentation. And they have been particularly hard hit. Red level, places like that. And other people I know in Citrus County are complaining water is standing where it's never been. Although Mark points out there's not any water anywhere where it's never been, you know,
Yeah.
just maybe in 25, 30 years, you know, or the time you've lived there, you've never seen it. So I guess what we can talk about is, what do you do? Like if your landscape is submerged for a period of time, what do you do with your lawn? What do you do? You know,
That's tough, because different plants react differently to it. There are a lot of trees that if they sit in standing water for more than 2 days or so, they will die. But they generally don't die. Like sometimes they die really quickly. Other times it'll take 1 or 2 or 3 years because the flooding starts the root rot going, and that kind of slowly goes and goes and goes. And then one day the tree succumbs to it. That may be 3 years down the road. Turf grass can drown and die. Most landscape plants can drown and die. If you have landscape plants that were not planted properly or heavy soil, so that they just took a post hole digger and dug a hole, took that potted plant and just slammed it in there, and it doesn't have good drainage, the roots didn't spread, so now when it's basically sitting in a puddle of water, they may suffer and die. The best advice is wait for a little bit. Wait and see how that plant recovers. It will either suffer damage and go downhill and die. And when it's completely dead, you'll pretty much know when it is. Although if you give it a chance, it may suffer, but then recover, get some new growth, and come back.
so if you determine, you know, you have a lot of expired plants and things, is there like a period of time you should wait to replant?
Not necessarily. Once you're come to the conclusion that it is dead and it needs to be replaced, or you want to replace it with something maybe different, because flooding is usually just a rare short-term event.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if let's say you have a house that you haven't lived in for very long, it's never flooded before, but we have a really wet summer, and for some reason your yard does flood for a couple days or a week or so, when the water drains and goes away, you should be good for quite a long time, unless you live in a flood zone or a spot that's really prone to flooding a lot. And hopefully you know that and you've already learned to live with that. But as soon as the floodwaters have receded and you figure that they're not going to come back for a while, you can start replacing whatever you need to replace. That brings something to mind, and you know
Mm-hmm.
Hernando County inside now.
Mm-hmm.
When I take 41 up and go over and head out 50, you know where Twin Cedars Nursery is on the right?
Mm-hmm.
Around there, maybe a little bit further out on the left, is an area that floods like crazy in the summer. It looks like woods that are completely filled with like chin deep water. And somebody lives there with a house and a car parked there, and it's like a little island, and it's surrounded by trees and water. And those trees better be either bald cypresses or they're going to be dead trees, because most summers it's wet, and then you'll drive by in the winter and look over and it's all dried up. What the heck is going on there?
Well, I don't know the person who lives there, if that's what you're asking, but you know what? Every 10 years or so, that happens there. And I haven't noticed, you know, it seems like the live oaks that are there just deal with it. And there probably are a lot of cypress in there. Yeah, that whole area is very flood prone. WPA Road is often, you know, closed because the water, it's just a low-lying area that's kind of all going towards the Withlacoochee River. And so you have Beister Lake and some other areas that probably that whole area really should just be a wetland and just let the water flow the way it naturally wants to flow. But, you know,
Yeah.
people live there now, so these
Well, it
other
looks like
things.
it piles up and it flows wherever it wants to, and be a little unusual. Yeah, I have a house in Brooksville, and I got 10 acres,
On an island.
and it's chest deep in water all summer, and then pretty dry during the winter. I can walk across it, you know.
Who knows? Maybe when that person is no longer around, and maybe someday the state will buy it for a drainage retention area or something, right there on the state road. I don't know. But
Nah, the developer will buy it, throw down 3 inches of soil, build a whole subdivision there, and then they'll wonder why it floods.
well, and what I was going to bring up now that you said that,
Uh-huh.
because we do see, and it just doesn't work the same way like in Florida as it may like in the Pittsburgh area where I'm from. In the Pittsburgh area where I'm from, it is not at all unusual for the street to be above your roof. I mean, that is just in the normal course of things because there's not that many flat places to put houses. So, but yet your house is still on the way down. So the water just is really just going by you.
Moving through, yeah.
Yeah. In Florida, if you get something that's just like 6 inches below the street, you have flooding issues because it's until it seeps through the sand because it's not like on a mountain on its way going somewhere. So if you are searching for a house, first of all, use your eye and try and not purchase a house that's in a bottom. But also what you can do, at least here in Hernando County, I assume something similar you can do in other counties too. But what I have learned over the years, what you should do is go to the Department of Public Works and ask for John Burnett. And he works with stormwater engineering. And tell him the address that you're looking at. And he will print off a map for free. I call it a squiggly line map. But it is a map that shows historical flood plains. And it'll show you if that property is prone, to hold water or not. And that is part of your due diligence that not enough people know about that resource exists. And it was very important too.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that before you purchase a house to be familiar with, will it potentially flood once every 100 years or once every 10 years or every summer?
And, truthfully, the way we're building up, water's moving differently. So, there's also
it changes.
Yeah, no real promises. But I got one from him just for the heck of it. I already had my house. And I'm telling you, almost to the inch on his squiggly map on my road is actually like the water during Debbie stopped right there, right where it was on the map that says it would stop. So.
Yeah, because there's areas where every just a couple of years where we have tropical weather or just a very rainy summer. As a general rule, if you want to live in a mobile home park that's right next to a creek, it will flood about every other year, and you'll be on TV, and it's like, well, you live next to a creek, so it happened. Why they? And it happened last year, and it happened the year before that. Why are they acting so surprised on TV?
Yeah. So, what is something about if the creek don't rise?
Exactly. But even Lee down there in Broward County, her lawn is a sponge from all the rain. It's rained pretty much every afternoon or evening for about a week and a half, 2 weeks at this point. It's supposed to stop very soon. And it's funny because boom, it may stop and not rain for a month.
Right.
So be prepared. It's normal in Florida.
And don't have your irrigation system on with all the rain that we've had. Nature has given us plenty.
Yeah, and we work with subdivisions and neighborhoods on that, and rain shutoff devices, and adjusting it for the different seasons. It's a lot of work, and sometimes it's difficult to convince people that your lawn doesn't need 10 inches of water each and every week. Some people, I think, just kind of figure that it does. Well, it doesn't.
And I keep repeating what I heard, a university agent say, because it really just struck me, because we have it so backwards that your automatic irrigation system that you have in your house was created to supplement natural rainfall, not the other way around.
Yeah.
We rely on these automatic systems to go off, and then if we get rain, we're like, oh, cool, yeah, got some extra. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Again, if your sprinkler system runs once a week, like it's supposed to here in Hernando County, other counties are different, but here in Hernando County, it's just once a week. If it runs 52 times a year, there's a problem.
Right.
Because I know for the last 2 weeks, with every single day, and not just a sprinkle, it was pretty much a gully washer almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need to run your sprinklers on top of that. You're just wasting water, you're wasting money, probably damaging plants.
Yeah.
Like you said, you get to a point where things start to drown. Too much water is going to, be bad for your plants, not necessarily good.
And what happened, remember you told me you went to visit someone whose shrubs were dying, and you could just almost pull them out of the ground because the mulch over the years was just holding water, wasn't breaking down. It was just a big bunch of goopy mulch.
Yeah, a 6-inch layer of mulch on top of old hedge roots holds the water in, and when we get tons and tons of rain, now you're trying to grow hedges in mud. You may have some success with growing rice in that situation, but most hedge bushes are not tolerant of that much water. They're going to suffer eventually. They're going to get a root rot. And we see a lot of
mangroves, maybe. You could try mangroves.
Sure, mangroves over in the brackish water on the coast. They sit in the water. Rice can sit in the water. Celery can take a lot of water. Most other things, not that much.
Cranberries, except we're too far south.
Yeah, we don't do cranberries.
Well, actually, no, they don't grow cranberries in the water. They only flood the fields to make the cranberries come up, and so they can net them and scoop them. And West Virginia is the furthest southern place they grow cranberries. Don't ask me why that's in my head. But,
I didn't know that. See, I learned something today.
Yeah. Lee's sprinkler's been off since June, and her 2 rainberries are full. There you go. She's got a my Brevard yard. No, I'm sorry. I keep wanting to put her in Brevard. She's in Broward.
Yeah, I know. If I had sprinklers that I actually ran and used, I would definitely have them off for the summer because it's just a complete and total waste to run them. Yeah. And my neighborhood, I don't live in a HOA, so the lawns range anywhere from 50% Bahia, 50% weeds, up to mostly Bahia. I have a neighbor, and I just a couple houses away, so I can't tell what percentage is Bahia, but it's not a beautiful, well-kept, manicured lawn or whatever. And yesterday, they had the irrigation going. And it may have been a little bit, I don't know if it was after 6 or not. I'm thinking, why are you running the irrigation with all the rain we have?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention.
Especially with Bahia grass, yeah.
I'm not going to mention who he works for.
Yeah, well.
But let's just say that you may encounter him at the company picnic.
I've had interesting conversations myself, so.
I'm sure. So it's hard to convince people that it's okay. It's okay if you go into your irrigation box, that little switch that says on and off, just throw it to off. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets really dry, you can go back out there and turn it back on. Make sure it's going at the right time, the right day, whatever. But when we're getting plenty of rain, it's okay.
Yeah, Bahia grass, if it gets watered once a week, and I mean either from God or from you, then it's going to look fantastic. Or you can only let nature water it, and it'll look pretty good. You don't have to have an irrigation system with established Bahia.
And in the winter, it's going to go dormant. and it's
Okay.
going to turn tan and brown and stop growing.
No, Bill. What is it going to turn?
Golden.
There you go.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not dying. You're not going to have to replace it. It's okay. It'll
It's
come
in.
back.
It's in the what? In the Cuisinart? What did you say? In the quiescent.
Oh, quiescent.
It's quiescent. Okay.
No, it goes dormant. If the plant in question goes through physiological changes as a part of it, it's dormancy.
Okay.
So, like fruit trees, peaches, plums, nectarines. What else loses its leaves? But with those, they go apple trees up north. They all go dormant because they lose their leaves, and there's a major physiological change in them for the winter until the spring triggers another change to come out of it and go into the summer. A citrus tree doesn't go dormant, doesn't lose its leaves, no big physical change. It just gets kind of unhappy when it gets too chilly and grows either very slowly or maybe not at all.
Turkey oaks lose their leaves.
Turkey oaks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sycamores.
Sycamores and sweet gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's interested in any of our upcoming classes, down below on the little ticker, Hernando Extension, all one word.com. I just made a graphic and an event for a class yesterday afternoon, and it is coming up. Let me check my calendar. Tuesday, October 26th. I have Dr. Chris Marble coming on Zoom at 10 in the morning, talking about non-chemical weed controls, ways, tips and tricks and things you could do to help prevent and control and deal with weeds in your vegetable garden and in your ornamental gardens without having to use herbicides. Because he said he does not like to recommend herbicides for any kind of edible garden.
Right. Yeah.
Which is good.
And you shared something from him yesterday about Bermuda grass, which I am probably one of the world's most weed tolerant people. I hate Bermuda grass.
I have a big section in the dog area, and it's fine for the dog area.
Well,
and
yeah, I don't hate it.
He has a whole series. There's about 10 videos in that series.
Oh.
And I got a notice on Facebook that I could cross-post them. I don't know who invited me to or who sent it. So I picked one, and I'm going to pick one a day. I'm going to try to pick one a day until we've cross-posted all of them.
I don't mind it if they wanted to grow like as a lawn. That wouldn't bother me but it loves to be in my flower beds. But the only thing he mentioned in that video was chemical control, which that might be all you can do with Bermuda grass. Other than pulling it.
Pull it, dig it.
I swear I could make baskets with it. Thatched roofs, something. I hate Bermuda grass. Oh.
Yeah, keep digging it up or Roundup.
Yeah, well, I don't want to kill everything else in there, though. So
if it is mixed in your lawn, especially St. Augustine lawn, what you have to do is kill a Roundup and resod.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if it was in my lawn.
That will kill it without killing your lawn. There's nothing that's effective on it.
We have, as you know, we bought the lot next door to us, and we've cleared a little bit of areas there. And I noticed this one area that is now receiving more sun. Got some beautiful Kogan grass trying to grow there now.
You can make a Kogan grass lawn. Just keep it clipped.
I told my husband, this stuff is bad. Kill it. Just kill it, however. Just kill it. So.
UF has a publication on it and it's a 3-year process of cutting, spraying, and burning at just the right time. And it has, if you're just a small property owner, here's your schedule. If you're a larger property owner or you own a natural area, here's yours. For pasture, here's your plan.
Well, there's about a dozen sprigs. So what I'm going to do is go out and pull them and see if I can stay ahead of it. But, just down the block from me, it's all over the undeveloped lots. Might be a losing battle.
Oh, down 41, anywhere between here and 50, or really downtown Brooksville, it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, you wanted to wrap up early, you said.
Yes, I have another meeting to go to, so.
And you accused me of keeping these things going, so.
No. I did want to focus on horseradish for today and cover that thoroughly. And I think we have. I am going to look it up, and I'm going to try ordering a root or a couple roots. I'll squeeze it in the corner of my backyard or garden or whatever. I'll give it a try.
Oh, remind them to watch your vanilla, your Milli Vanilli or whatever the class that you just posted.
Yeah, that went really well. We had well over 100 people that watched it live, and I put the recorded video up and emailed everybody who had registered so that more people could watch it. If they just forgot, they were busy, they couldn't make it at the last minute. You can get, and it's difficult to buy vanilla orchids that are the real thing right now, because he even showed pictures off of eBay for vanilla orchids. He said, that's not a vanilla orchid. The color of the flower is wrong. Shape of the flower here is wrong. This is probably some other thing. And he's showing none of them were really true.
Does he show the Latin name so you know what you're getting?
No, all these people were saying that it was one species, and he said, no, they're not right. And you could tell from a picture. They're wrong. There will be more available through nurseries. They're starting to, people are buying it wholesale and reselling it, so they will be available soon. You can grow it in your, I always knew that a vanilla orchid grew like a vine. And I know that naturally it's going to grow up into a tree. But now if it's way up into a tree and you want to hand pollinate it, you got to get up into the tree. You can grow it in a greenhouse or up against a fence and grow it up 6 feet, turn it around, down 6 feet, and let it adventitiously root in the ground, up, down, up, down. I'm thinking, I could do that. I got a fence in my backyard. So I'm going to give it a try.
Okay.
But you can't let them freeze.
Your neighbors need to take some of that vanilla, though, because if in payment for all the lovers and everything you don't want in your yard that you throw over the...
You can make your own vanilla extract. And if you have about a half a dozen healthy plants and they're giving you pods every year, you can produce a quart. It's a pretty large amount of vanilla extract.
Cool. Depends on how much vodka you put in it, yeah.
But the further south, if you live in Homestead, it's a piece of cake down there. Here, it's worth experimenting with. I'm going to give it a try. I want to try it.
Okay.
I'll let you know how it turns out.
Okay.
And how do we say that? Jen. Jen missed the Vanilla Orchid Workshop. Jen, hopefully you got the email that I sent out. If you registered for it, you got the email in your inbox somewhere with a link to the recorded class so that you can still watch it. And let's make this one more quick question here from Diana. She was tempted to buy a vanilla orchid off of eBay until I said that. She sent messages to a couple of sellers asking what variety, and they didn't know.
No buying on.
Our presenter said, buy from somebody legitimate. Try to make sure they're in either Puerto Rico or Hawaii, because that's where you can grow true vanilla orchids. They're going to do well. Ask them to send you pictures of the flowers, and you could tell from looking online by the flower, is this the real species of vanilla orchid that I want or not.
They're going to have to, like they do on the extract, where it says real vanilla extract, they're going to have to have real vanilla plant. And Jen wants to know, she didn't sign up, but she would like to see the class. No, I'm sorry, Leah.
Leah, shoot me an email. So let me throw my email up here again, wlester@ufl.edu. Just send me an email and I'll send you the link. When you click on the link, you'll probably have to answer the registration questions. If you were already registered, maybe you don't. I'm not really positive. So I'm warning everybody of that, giving you a little heads up. So go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'll send you the link. It was a great class. I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot.
Okay.
Okay, now the for real last question before we have to go, guys. I have another meeting coming up.
It's me that keeps it lasting long.
I know, Lily, come on, I gotta go. So Jen asks, for our last question of today, have there been any classes on pinecone ginger? I just ordered some rhizomes to try. The quick and easy answer to that is no, we have not had any classes on growing gingers. I do have some master gardeners that are real experts on growing gingers. Dr. Deidre, I know, knows a lot about gingers. And Wynn is a ginger expert. He's also an orchid expert. And every time he emails me, I email him back and I throw in, we would really love to have you come to the office and do something on gingers on Facebook Live. And he keeps ignoring me. So maybe he's camera shy.
He's been busy. They've been remodeling.
He's been busy. We've all been busy. But
they've been remodeling their house during, since they can't travel.
Yeah.
See, I do know everything, don't I?
Yeah, you do. But no, we will definitely have a class on gingers in general. I'll get a hold of Dr. Deidre because she's not camera shy at all. She did, remember last year, the Christmas musical that we did live on Facebook Live. So she could talk about gingers, and she may even sing the ginger song also.
I'm unaware of this one.
Did you miss that last year? That was on Facebook.
Apparently I did.
If you go on Facebook, it was from a year ago, but yeah, it's still on there.
She
did a Christmas concert here at the office.
Do you sing?
What's that?
Do you sing in it?
Oh gosh, no.
No.
Well, we don't want that. No. Luckily for everybody
ginger, though,
I did not sing
ginger
in it.
is really easy. Pinecone ginger you should be able to just stick in the ground. It should grow.
Yeah, we'll figure out some kind of Facebook Live class or something for gingers. That has been on my list of things. It's something that people are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll make sure we do something that either includes pinecone ginger or just on ginger. You know, we could have 10 classes on gingers. Plenty to talk about. Hundreds, literally thousands of species of gingers.
Mm-hmm.
So Diana loves gingers. Diana, you're a master gardener. I'm going to get a hold of you to see if you want to do it.
An old Monty Python skit about learn the value of not being seen. She has not learned the value of not being seen.
Diana, she has several. So she has show and tell. Okay, great. Expect an email when I get to it. Okay, Lee, you have a great weekend too. And yeah, Lee grows ginger and turmeric all year in Broward. I need to get both for next spring. I really want to grow the edible ginger root and turmeric in my yard, in pots.
Next week, let's talk about turmeric next week. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. I do have master gardeners that are experts in all those different areas. Yeah, we'll put something together. So, hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and asking so many questions and helping us cover, let's see, gingers, horseradish, and flooding all in one day. That's pretty amazing.
And vegetable gardening.
I accomplished something this morning, I guess. Okay, thanks again, everybody. And everybody have a beautiful weekend and enjoy the beautiful weather. And we will see you back here again next Thursday. See you then.
Same time, same place.
Exactly. Bye.